Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring. I have just watched the Games Workshop online preview for the 18th of April, and grim tidings. Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress is coming to an end this year. I predicted that this year we might see a standalone / expansion product for Blackstone Fortress that would serve as an introduction into Warhammer Quest, whilst also expanding the narrative of Blackstone Fortress. Looking at this announcement, it would suggest that that's probably not going to be the case. There has been no news yet as to whether Warhammer Quest is going to continue at all. They haven't said anything about what comes after the conclusion to Blackstone Fortress. But I would guess that if Warhammer Quest does continue as a product line, we will get a new standalone product in a completely new area. So I've gone through the announcement, pored over the photographs, looked at the video, read through all the text, and I'm just going to share my initial thoughts here on how I feel about what they're doing. Let's take a look at this final expansion for Blackstone Fortress, because we are going out with a bang. We are going out with a final big expansion. They call it a massive expansion. Of course, this expansion won't be coming out until after the Deadly Alliance expansion with the Zotin, which has obviously been pushed back because of the current global situation. So we have the Zot still to look forward to, and then we will be getting to Ascension later in the year. But it is the end. It is the final culmination of the story. And there's not really been any hint of what is going to come after this. So it's raised a few questions. We know that the storyline is going to end, but does that mean that also support for the game in White Dwarf magazine is going to end? Are they going to continue publishing White Dwarf content? We've been lucky to have new content in every month's White Dwarf so far, but if the game is going to be discontinued this year, and of course we don't know exactly when that's going to be, will the White Dwarf content dry up too? Furthermore, if this final expansion comes out before the end of the year, will they actually put out a 2020 annual? This is something that people have been saying, or do I buy the White Dwarf content, or do I hold off for a 2020 annual? If the game is effectively discontinued, I mean, I should imagine we'll still have expansions for sale by the end of the year. We have no idea what the time frame is, but if it's classed as a finished game by the end of the year, will Games Workshop still go to the effort of putting out an annual for it? You know, there's a difference between putting out an annual for a game that is still going, is still a going concern. It's slightly different to put out an annual for a product that you have finished with. Although it would be a nice capstone to finish off the year. We also have to think about the current availability of existing expansions. How long will they be available for? Games Workshop are not in the habit of reprinting expansions for products that are no longer available. If there are certain expansions that people are interested in, I would suggest going out and grabbing them while you can. Well, not going out right now, with social distancing being a thing. Stay at home, order them online. But I would certainly expect them to become increasingly difficult to get hold of. I am very lucky I've bought them as they have come out, and as I was an early adopter of Blackstone Fortress, I've been able to keep on top of the expansions as they have been released. But I would certainly suggest that if there are ones that you've been looking at going, I like that, but I'll hold off for now, this year could potentially be the last opportunity to get some of those expansions, unless you go to the secondary market. And yeah, the biggest question of all is there going to be a new Warhammer Quest? Are they going to continue in some way? I would suggest yes. They've supported Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress for a good amount of time, and they've put out a good amount of content for it. So it suggests to me that it's done well for them. And of course, it is the third iteration of the new wave of Warhammer Quest. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a new Warhammer Quest coming out, maybe end of this year, maybe next year. What will it be though? Is it going to be another 40k product? Is it going to be Warhammer Quest 40,000 in a completely different setting? Or are they going to return to the Age of Sigmar setting? Who knows? I don't know. They haven't hinted at any of that at the moment. So we have a lot of question marks and a lot of possible concerns. And of course, while I'm not over the moon hearing about the end of Blackstone Fortress, I have really enjoyed the game and I've enjoyed the support that it has had since it released. At least we're going to go out with this big expansion called Ascension. And we don't have a huge amount of information on it yet. We've been told it is a massive expansion. And we're going to get some new enemies, and the enemies in question, it's a little bit dubiously worded because the announcement says we're getting new enemies such as Guardian drones, which implies multiple types of enemies. However, looking at the back of the box, I only see miniatures for the new Guardian drones, and the Guardian drones are big. They're going to take up a lot of box space. So I'm not expecting any other miniatures in the box. However, it does look like there are 2 enemy cards in the box. There are 2 enemy cards featured on the back of the box at least. And that is because I would suggest the other new enemy we're going to get is once again Obsidious Mallex. Why do I think this? Because Obsidious Mallex is on the cover of the expansion, and in the teaser video that Games Workshop have released, there's a voiceover that goes, "But this is impossible, you're dead." So I should imagine that it's not going to be much of a spoiler to suggest that Obsidious Mallex, who features heavily on the cover of the box, is going to be another enemy, a final confrontation. And in fact, Games Workshop do admit that Obsidious Mallex is in this expansion in the text as well, where they say you have to find a way to stop Obsidious Mallex once and for all. So yeah, if they were planning on that being some kind of great revelation, they've not hid it very well. So okay, Obsidious Mallex is coming back again, and it would look like we're going to be reusing his miniature, which is one way of getting more mileage out of the character, I suppose. It would be nice to have a cool new enemy, a cool new miniature. But we are getting Guardian drones, and the Guardian drones are big. They're basically, it looks like we're getting 2, and it looks like they're Mummy and Daddy Spindle drones. In fact, one of the Guardian drones is holding a Spindle drone, so they are massive. They're much, much, much bigger. And of course, a lot of people, myself included, have been saying for a long time that we want more enemies that are native to the Blackstone Fortress. We want more of those mechanical entities that are defense drones, that sort of alien technology. So it's great that we're finally getting it. It's just a bit of a shame that we're finally getting it right at the very end as a final hurrah for the series, and this will be, I guess, the first and last time we're getting new Blackstone Fortress native enemies. The miniatures themselves do look fantastic. They have weird things on their backs, which do remind me of something, but I cannot place where I'm getting it from. I don't know if anybody else looking at these images can say, well, hold on, that looks like an insignia for something. It looks like it's a reference or a callback to something, but I can't at the moment place it. So something to discuss in the comments if you like. But apart from an opportunity to beat on Obsidious Mallex again and face these gigantic Guardian drones, what exactly is this expansion bringing? It is bringing a new way to play the game, apparently. It's a different way to play as you race through the ever-changing corridors of the Blackstone Fortress in search of a way to shut it down. The narrative seems to be the case that the Blackstone Fortress is activating, weaponizing, and Precipice is under threat. Precipice is under attack, so I should imagine we're going to have some kind of time limit where if we fail, Precipice is destroyed. So the heroes are going to be rushing around trying to shut down the Blackstone Fortress from within, which sounds incredibly difficult and incredibly frightening. I'm not sure that's a task that I would personally want to take on. We're also told that the new expansion will contain loads of new cards and surprises, as well as the biggest reward for completing a quest ever. And that's going to be an interesting thing, isn't it? Because it's a reward for the final quest. So what can it be? And what are you going to use it for? The only thing you're going to be able to use it for is going back and doing one-off dungeon plunges afterwards. But yeah, interested to see what is going to be in the final envelope. Could be something really cool. Could be a little advertising flyer for Warhammer Quest Blackstone Fortress 2, the continuation. But I guess that's it at the moment. That's all we really know. We're getting a final expansion. We've got Deadly Alliance coming out, then we will be getting Ascension as the final conclusion to our Blackstone Fortress adventure. We're getting big new spindle drones, guardian drones. We're getting a new form for Obsidious Malix. Hopefully he's going to be suitably impressive, and it would be nice to have him really be a threatening enemy that's quite scary. And then, who knows, from that point onwards, we may get more White Dwarf content, but if we do, I should imagine it's going to be more Army of One rules and possibly retinue characters. And then we just have to wait and see what Games Workshop has in store next. Will there be a new Warhammer Quest? I would be surprised if there wasn't. But where it is, what time frame it's going to cover, who knows? Exciting times, slightly sad times, but exciting times. And that's it from me for now. Thank you for watching this video. If you have liked it, please consider pressing the like button. If you have really liked it, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so. Please leave your comments below on what you think about Warhammer Quest and where we're going next, and your feelings on this culmination of what we have experienced together. And hopefully, I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.